Perfect. It does show us live, so I'm just going to um, give this a second to alert some folks and go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm starting to see the notification, everything come up on my end, and I know we're slightly behind on our end, so I want to go ahead and at least get this in motion, start with some introductory comments before I introduce our guest this morning. And first off, I want to welcome you all back to our broadcast. These are continuing on into this year with Mondays and Wednesdays being our two prime programming spots. So if you have any questions on these broadcasts, let us know. If you ever want to watch replays, or if you yourself are watching a replay right now, then give us a hashtag replay so we know you tuned in. You can visit the video section here on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, if either of those platforms are the ones that you're viewing this on, and be able to see past videos that we've had, interviews with partners of ours in the community, updates from our elected officials, all the way to nuances that you should know in your business, maybe adapt, maybe infuse, and become innovative. Because if you're not innovative, the slogan says, then you die. Apparently, that's like a big thing. So anyways, find all those videos out there for you. Now, if you haven't already done so, give us a thumbs up if you can see us, hear us, and are just as enthused to be engaged with us. Hit the share button on this video so others in your network can also see that we're live, can pause what they're doing and come back to us, or kind of flag it to go back to in the future as well. A couple of things I want to familiarize you with if you've not already been on our page before. And if you haven't been, then no, I am Juliet Abdel, the Westminster Chamber President and CEO. This is your plug to hit the like, follow for alerts when we post content live, or subscribe on our YouTube channel. The comment section is where we'll pull any questions, any comments that you might make, overall remarks about our speaker or the subject. And we really like to engage with you. So even though we have content, we've got some questions we're going to be asking of our guest. We want to involve you in the process as well. So familiarize yourself with the comment section. When you do comment, we will pull up not only your profile photo, so hopefully something that you actually like, and your name, and then it'll show what that comment is. So this first one comes to us from Brian Head, giving us a quick good morning message. Thank you, Brian, for joining in. And then our current board chairman, Brian Dice, giving a quick good morning message for both Brett and myself. We appreciate you tuning in with us, Brian. And then, of course, it looks like Parker is trailing into third place with the comments, giving a quick good morning. Thank you, Parker, for tuning in with us. I hope everyone's staying warm inside. I see Derek. I see Barbara. I see several others that are on here. Continue to tune in with us. And Emilio, thank you. And we will hopefully be able to highlight some of the comments that you have or questions. But with that, I'm very excited to be able to introduce our subject for today. Our subject, of course, is a network welcome, or welcoming partners into not only our business community, but our chamber. And our partner today, Brett, thank you so much for hopping on and finding the time to make this fit your schedule.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me do that. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Now, I had the opportunity of running into you, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think of when it was we actually met each other, but we ran into each other somewhere. And that's where I got your business card. And I was like, ENS Nutrition, I've never heard of them before. And they're in Westminster. Who the heck are they? And let me find out a little bit more about them. So I am very excited to share with folks who you are, some of the things that you do. And before I really jump into ENS, let's tell them a little bit about you. Are you from the area? Are you from Colorado? Are you living in numerous states and you're traveling here, every now and then? Give us a glimpse.
Wow. Since we only have 30 minutes, I'll keep it brief. But but yes, I've been back and forth from Colorado for, I guess, the last 40 years. I was originally from California, moved to Hawaii, back to California, then traveled Europe for a while, then settled here for about 30 years. And this is where I kicked off my career as a dietitian and a nutrition supplement formulator. And then left again, retired actually, lived in
Yeah.
the lived in the Bahamas, sailed around the Bahamas for about 4 or 5 years, and then
Mhm.
this opportunity came up to start this business, and I came back and settled in Colorado. So I've been here now consistently for about 4 years.
Well, and it must be a pretty exciting opportunity because you left the Bahamas and you left retirement to come back into this, and that's pretty compelling in itself.
Yeah, it took an act of God to do it for sure. But no, it was an extremely exciting opportunity. I had been in the nutrition supplement business for 30 years, doing
Wow.
formulation and things. Working for multiple companies, and then this opportunity in the IV nutrition space came
Yeah.
up and really excited me because I think that this is an area that we can really make even more impact on people's personal health. And so, yeah, I
And
really do.
And I think that's what I love the most about what you do is your name doesn't capture it all. ENS Nutrition, when you first see that, you really do think of the more traditional type of nutrition shops or locations that are out there. But you're leading the edge on a different approach, and you're touching. You slightly touched that a little bit with the IV component. So let's have folks get to know a little bit about what is IV therapy. What is the type of thing that you offer? And then is that everything that your business does? And I do want to give a quick shout out to Christina. Thank you for hopping on with us.
Yeah, you bet. IV therapy, IV nutritional therapy, we will say, because that's what it is. It's all natural. It's all simply vitamins, minerals, aminos, nutrition. It's not drugs. It's not pharmaceuticals. So that this business and this treatment modality has been around for 50 years, but it's been very select. It's been very, professional athletes and health clinics that were very select and all. Interestingly, one of the silver linings of COVID is that during that time, there was a proliferation of these standalone IV bars,
Mhm.
that now people can walk into and say, hey, give me 5 grams of vitamin C intravenously, and boom, you get that.
Mhm.
And so that is one of the reasons that I came back in to do this with this specialized product that we
Mhm.
have, because now there is truly an audience that we can reach, really nationally and globally, truly. So
Mhm.
it is a way to get nutrients into the body that don't have to go through the two major hurdles of a dietary supplement, which are digestion, which
Yeah.
then breaks down a bunch of the different nutrients, and
Mhm.
then absorption, which also then cuts down on the amount that actually enters your bloodstream. And then you've got what's called first pass metabolism through the liver, that everything that you eat goes through there and is then changed and sort of, uh, again, filtered out to a degree. If you put nutrients directly into your bloodstream, you get 100% utilization of those nutrients, and that's a
Yeah.
game changer.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with it. There have been a lot more that have popped up, these types of businesses that are offering IV nutrition. It is starting to become a lot more popularized. And when we see kind of the demographic of who's had access to it before, it was very limited to the larger. But to your credit and what you're referencing, I'm a strong proponent. So I have to inject my personal testimony. I do believe in vitamins. I know that they work. And I also think that with a balanced and healthy diet, you still need those added supplements. And I only usually eat my vitamins. So if I'm not eating the gummy type of things, then I'm, getting my IV treatments and everything done. And I've been able to experience your facility and your unique product that you offer. And so I'll have you share a little bit more on that here in a little bit. But, this perception of one vitamin, if I take this brand or this type of product, then they all have the same effect, does not hold true. The way that you digest it is you're sharing what it is, what components that come with it, all of those factors are play in a big role in whether or not they actually contribute to the betterment of your health. We've got a quick comment that came through from Brian. I'm just pulling it onto our screen quickly. And for those that are joining us today, thank you for tuning in. We've got Brett from ENS Nutrition. Feel free to comment or provide any questions into the chat, and we'll try and address them. Brian is sharing that he has tried IV nutrition in the past. He had no idea that there was a spot here in Westminster, and so he definitely needs to check it out. But let's share with Brian what you offer, because even though there are different IV locations, not everyone offers the same things. And your product is, I feel, is much more unique than some of the other locations that are out there.
It's true. And yeah, thank you for that introduction. And thank you, Brian, for that comment. Our clinic right now is fairly limited because we really opened our clinic to do our clinical trial with our product. And now we're using it just on a very limited basis and sort of growing the awareness around it. But to give you a bit of background about, kind of how this product that we have came to be and why it is different. This is my 120-story elevator speech, so everybody hold on.
So buckle up, grab that popcorn, and get ready to listen.
Right. So the genesis of this whole thing actually started almost 20 years ago in South Africa. There was a pharmaceutical scientist there who had a colleague that was a doctor who specialized in treatment of diabetic wounds and foot care and things of this nature. And diabetes in South Africa at the time, and still it was a big issue. And the gentleman, this doctor, was literally cutting off feet and limbs every week because of the lack of blood flow to the limb and the ulcers that would develop and the gangrene that would develop and these things that there was no treatment for at the time. And so he went to his friend Hank Van Wyck and he said, will you try and develop something natural for us that will help me cure these people, help these people? So Hank went to the drawing board, came up with a few different products. They tried them out. They came upon one that worked beautifully in a few different patients they tried it on. So they approached the South African government. They said, can we get a compassionate dispensation to use this more widely? And the government said, absolutely. There was no other option. And so over a 2-year period, they treated almost 2,000 people. They saved every limb. So crazy. And so, yeah, they were just astounded by it because of the ability of it to not only enhance blood flow to the limb, but to decrease inflammation in the body. It really allowed those wounds to heal and save the limbs. Fast forward a couple of years, some entrepreneurs in the US hear about this. They approach Hank and the doctor and they ask to license their product, their technology, and bring it here to the US and put through the FDA process. So because they really were wanting to make this a pharmaceutical that they could move into that business and help people save their limbs. And so they started down the path. They got through their phase 1 trials for critical limb ischemia, which basically means a critical lack of blood flow to a limb that then there's not enough oxygen to keep the tissue alive. So they got through phase 1 trials, beautiful. They started moving into phase 2 trials, which is actually treating sick people, and then COVID hit. And so they had raised over $100 million, friends and family, to support this process. So COVID hits, but they know that this product also has a strong anti-inflammatory effect. And so they said, well, I think we can really help mitigate the cytokine storm that happens with COVID and things. So they're like, okay, we will pivot. Because as people may not know, when COVID hit, all research around the world stopped except for COVID. And so they had to pivot. They did. They got through both phase 1 and half of a phase 2 trial treating sick COVID patients. They found that they decreased hospital stay from 14 days to 5 days. And they also showed that they decreased the 8 major markers of inflammation by percentages between 50 and 80% that no nutraceutical or pharmaceutical on the market can touch, right? And so with no side effects. And this is just vitamins and minerals in a very specific blend. And so at that point, unfortunately, they ran into financial problems and they kind of ran out of money. I was an investor in that nutraceutical or that pharmaceutical company. And with my background, and this is what brought me off my sailboat back here to Colorado. with my background, I said, hey guys, will you license me this technology? And there are 18 patents now that on this product. There's $50 million worth of clinical research. And they said, you bet. And so I said, because I can make a nutraceutical out of this, and we can then move, a different product. So it's not the exact same product that they were trying to get through FDA. So I tweaked the product enough to make it different and not step on that process. Okay. And then we did a head-to-head trial, the original formula against my new formula called Luminutra, just to make sure we had a biological equivalence. We found we did have a biological equivalence of effect, and so here we are. And so basically what our product does is dramatically enhance circulation throughout the body and very strongly mitigate and suppress inflammation in the body. And those are kind of those two things, lack of circulation and systemic inflammation, are really the foundation
for disease.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we've seen amazing effect in so many different areas with so many different people at this point. So
I'm sorry to cut you off. Your percentages were astronomical. I mean, when you touched on from a 50 to an 80% response to the nutrition and some of the things that they've already been able to use it and applied it to, even the international work that they were doing that they bought into here. I mean, it's impressive to see the variety of cases that it can treat. And I love this 120 stories that we just traveled together. What I love the most about it was that you also touched on the process that you went through. This isn't something that was just overnight you decided to do and you opened up shop and here you are sticking needles in people. This is tried, it's true. There's been clinical trials throughout it. You've had documented success, and then you've taken all of that expertise and really backed this product that you're now offering.
That is true, and I think that's what obviously separates us from all the other products in the IV nutritional market at this point. And I'm not disparaging any products out there. I think that there's a lot of place for vitamin C and NAD and the variety of things that are offered there. But one of the things I want to see is this business of IV nutrition. Part of our mission at ENS is to start trying to legitimize it, right? Start trying to put science behind it so that we are bulletproof against detractors. And so we're trying to move into an area where we say, hey guys, let's all start pulling together and creating science-backed products so that we can really tell people, yes, this stuff this works, and this is what it works for, and this is why.
Yeah. And it's almost like, every time that you pull up, and we've sidebarred, so I won't go into the politics of it on here, but when you even purchase a product, sometimes it'll have a label that says it hasn't been tested, or, this organization or this entity or agency does not necessarily validate any of the facts that are listed on here. But you're helping kind of become that hub for credibility for a number of these existing and hopefully future ones that come on board that want to start implementing it, whether it is a similar type of IV or a different one. As you said, they are all very complementing, but you kind of select the one that you need for your body and everything. And I know a good amount of people have those two factors are a big factor in their lives. We have a quick question that came through, and I hate to, I could keep going, honestly, because I can tell that I'm really super enthused to have you on here. But we did have a question come up, and I'll pull it onto our screen. And while that's getting pulled onto a screen, I just want to give a quick shout out to Melinda. Thank you for tuning in with us. We have ENS Nutrition sharing all things about IV therapy and the science and clinical research, and their location that's here in Westminster, which we'll share at the end of this video so you can drop in and see them and chat with them. If you've got any thoughts or questions or overall things that you wanted us to touch on that we haven't yet highlighted, drop them in the chat like some of the folks have already done. Parker is asking if this product that you have helps with fatigue.
That's a great question, Parker, and yes, and that's a perfect. It's almost like I paid you to ask that question, because that feeds directly into the mechanism of action of the product here. So when Hank Van Wyk was originally developing this product, what he knew was that if he could enhance the cellular energetics at the mitochondrial level, and I know that gets a little technical, but basically the mitochondria is the little organelle in every cell in the body that creates the energy within the cell. So he knew that if he could enhance that energetic in that cell, in every cell in the body, that has a cascading effect. That basically, if you can do that, you can then heal and a lot of the endothelial dysfunction, which is the vein dysfunction in the body. And as you heal the endothelial dysfunction, you get more blood flow, and you suppress the inflammation as well. And so by increasing those energetics in every cell in your body, absolutely what you see is over time an increase in your general baseline energetic level.
Awesome. Parker, I hope that answers your question. Lynn, thanks for tuning in with us onto our broadcast. Please feel free to type in any thoughts our way. So right now you're up and running. You're here in Westminster. The space you were sharing with me was definitely more of that R&D, but now has a bit more of the forward facing where folks can go out and see you. And is this something that's Monday through Friday? Is it weekends? How does that look schedule wise for people?
Right now, it's very limited. We literally have Monday mornings for 4 hours because this isn't something that we've advertised because our core business is creating this product and selling it out to the clinics and the IV bars and things of that nature. However, if demand picks up, we absolutely will expand our hours. And there's it's a different website and a different name. It's called Inlumen IV Nutrition Therapy Clinic. And I imagine we can share that link with people after.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can book right there.
There's this question, which you just answered for Brian. Now, Brian's question was asking if people come to you for those infusions, will the product be available at other locations that do the IV treatments? And as Brett was just sharing, they do offer that at their location. And the idea moving forward would be hopefully to get those out to those IV clinics that are offering IV nutrition therapy. Is that an accurate way of answering that?
That is very accurate. And there is one other partner in town who actually helped us with the clinical research, and it's in Arvada. And it's a group called Genesis Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine. And so they have a much broader range of availability of hours, and they're one of the other groups here in town that's actually providing Lumenutra infusions.
Oh, nice. Okay. We'll have to connect with them and get them plugged into our organization for sure. Brian is asking, is there the other Brian? I know it seems like it's the same person, but I promise you they're two different people that like to troll each other on my broadcast. He's asking, is there a subscription type plan for this, or is it more on demand?
We have, if you go to the Inlumen site, you will see that we sell packages. And right now we have a pretty solid discount going on, which is basically half price, just for a single infusion. And then you can buy a package of 3 or a package of 5, and you can get it further and further down if you buy packages. So that's kind of what we're doing right now, just because, again, this isn't really our core business, doing the clinic portion, but we're trying to make it very affordable and easy for people.
Yeah. And this is hilarious. I'm the better looking one. I had to pull that out.
Of course.
And, I do have to say, I have done IV nutrition so I started it in 2020 for my own immune issues that I've had, and inflammation and circulatory problems, 2 of which, your product targets. And your staff, when they did get me set up and going, was just, I didn't even realize that the drip had already started. It was in my arm, and, there was no hesitant. It was a great experience. And as someone who has gone to so many offices, and you start getting pricked and you're like, oh my gosh, please take that out, that hurts, or you bruise up, that was not the case. So even though it's not like your bread and butter and the main thing that you guys do, you're pretty good at doing it. So
thank you for that. And yes, our IV techs are top notch for sure.
Awesome. Well, was there something, Brett, that I didn't touch on that you were hoping that we would get out there to those that are tuned in with us, that you were maybe wanting to speak about?
One of the things that would be helpful for anybody who's watching would be if if you want to reach out, you can go to our website, you can research it a little bit, you can reach out directly to me, you can open a conversation. But one of the things that helps us spread the word and get our product out to different infusion centers is if people go in asking for it, and
Mm.
say, if anybody out there that's listening is already going to an IV bar and they're getting treatments, if you go in and say, hey, do you guys have Luminutra? And they'd say, no, what's Luminutra? And so that really helps us, get our product out and help us expand our mission.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. I always like kind of asking in case there's something that folks can help out with. And what I've done as we were just chatting, for those of you that are interested in learning more about the overall company, that is ensnutrition.com. That's included in the chat for you to visit. And their location is conveniently located off of 120th. So I've also dropped that in the chat if you plan on going in person to try and have this experience or interface with their team. This would be the way that you can go about it. And I don't see any additional comments or questions that have come our way. We are slightly below the 30-minute mark, but we were over on time because we started a little bit later. I don't want to cut this off, but Brett, I know I want to comment a couple of things after we get off. So don't leave me as soon as we exit out. Of course, if you are watching this later on, thank you for tuning in with us. Make sure that you continue to share this message out. If you're someone that's hesitant or maybe had a bad experience or have your own unique case that you're hoping we can get answered for you, you can always DM the page and we'll get that question over to Brett and he will directly follow up with you one-on-one. So you don't have to feel like you have to type your history into the chat if it's more personable to you. Of course, if you've not already watched, we have a video that's up, and this is like my shameless plug for the We Love Westy sweepstakes, which is about to end on Monday. And that is $5,000 in cash that we're giving out to folks, a dozen chances at winning. All you have to do is support local. So there's two ways. There's a free post, which doesn't require you to pay anything. You just have to share it out and comment on it. Or you purchase gift cards that are eligible to be used at our surrounding businesses. And those gift cards vary in increments from $25 and above, but you get numerous chances to win $5,000 in cash, which is great because I know a lot of you guys have overspent during the holidays. Maybe your credit cards are a little bit full. Maybe you're trying to plan out the next trip out to the Bahamas, or, you are envious of the sailboat that was mentioned earlier. And so this would be your way of doing that. But Brett, I do thank you so much for being on here, for sharing a little bit about yourself and your journey into the work that you do now. It is impactful work, and I'm very excited to see where you all go from here. Please stay with me, and I hope the rest of you guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Julia. And if I could just make one more comment while we're still live. We've really found that this product treats a variety of conditions that people present with. And I'm not going to go into detail here, but if you have something going on with you and you are interested to see if it would help with that, please do reach out to me directly at contact@ENS Nutrition. And I'm happy to answer personally your questions about your specific condition.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for opening yourself up to that floodgate. And hopefully people will reach out and be able to get some of those questions addressed. So thank you all once again. And we'll be back on here, of course, on Monday with another broadcast for you. I see you, Brett. Thank you for engaging the other Brett, who will be on here with us in a couple of weeks. Appreciate you as well. And with that, I wish everyone a great rest of your day, and drive safely if it is snowing still.
Bye.